What it do, beloved? It's your boy. Back at it again, you already know. About to hop right up into this, eh? Oops. Was running a little bit behind this morning, so I was like, hey, Bible study in the park. It's a little windy and I forgot my fuzzy things on the microphone, so hopefully that doesn't affect it too bad, but hey, bruh, we gonna hop up into it. We gonna see how it is. Starting a new chapter here, verse number 1, chapter 13, book of Matthew. Let's hop up into it. The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprang up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had not root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. And others fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit. Some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Sorry, my reading skills are a little bit poor right now. Light is kind of dim. So, sorry if I sound a little goofy. Let's run it back, though. Read a little bit more than I was expecting, right? But, hey, bro, it's a banger. So let's run it back. Verse 1. The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. So yeah, came out the house. I think so I'm assuming it's just immediately after the previous chapter ended, where he was talking about his mother and father, or his mother and brothers were standing outside asking for him to come out. And he's like, oh, who are they? The people that are my brothers and sisters are right here listening to me already, right? So it says the same day, Jesus came out of the house and sat by the seaside. All right, pretty simple. We're in a flight path right now. Huge plane coming in. It's a little loud. I don't want to have to yell over it. It's a little tough. It looks pretty cool, though. Well, just give me one more minute. One more second here. One more second. All right, we're good. And great multitudes, verse 2, were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. Using the aquatic frequencies to extend his voice, right? Like an amphitheater. He's shouting over the waves. The waves carry his voice into the shore, to the people. Pretty interesting. Pretty cool little thing that he did there. Doesn't talk about that really, but I thought that was pretty interesting, pretty sick. So nothing like too like hard to understand there, right? He's just kind of explaining what he's doing, right? 3, and he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, and this is where it starts getting into it, right? Verse 3, right? And he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Boom. First fate has befallen the seeds. Although, let's run it back a little bit more. Who's the sower? Who is the sower that went forth to sow? Is it Christ? The seeds, the seeds would be, I believe, his word, right? And I believe we would be the earth, correct? I believe the people would be the ground, the fertile, the stony, the sunny. What are the fowls? Are the fowls Satan? Are the fowls demons? I think it is. You think of like ravens, right? You think of ravens as as like not good energy, right? Like crows and stuff. That's what I would assume would be coming around swooping up the dang seeds, right, in the fields, right? Yeah, what would the fowls be? Because we have these differences in ground, in soil, but what are the fowls that are not the soil of the air, right? Would that be? Maybe that could be many things, right? Maybe that could be the challenges of life. Maybe it could be other people being possessed by demons. I don't know. Or just negative energies coming in, stealing away the goodness. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. Who's the sower? I think it's Christ. I think it's God. But at the same time, it could be you, right? You could also be going around sowing the seeds of Christ. And Christ is the seed. Interesting. Roles can be reversed and both be right. Two things are right at the same time could possibly be. Interesting. Something to think about, I guess. Dang. Behold, the sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside. First fate of the seeds. Wayside. The wayside. Okay, so, and the fowls came and devoured them up. So, they were already taking an L at the wayside. Maybe they couldn't sprout on the wayside, but then the fowls were just like, hey, yo. They fell on like some rocks, and maybe they were still on the path, right? Still on the road. And then the fowls just kind of like swooped them up off the asphalt kind of thing, off the road, right? Sucked up the seeds, right? So, first fate, I guess, would just be the fowls. The fowls devouring them up. What is the wayside, though? Where would the negative energies, I suppose, the demons, right? Where would they be able to swoop up the seed from the, wherever it is, right? Where is the wayside? I want to say that it's in the places that demons frequent, right? In their, I want to say, like going to like bars or something like that, or raves or something. I'm not sure, or whatever. But the wayside wouldn't be their home, right? The wayside is just where they come out to hunt, to gather, right? So what would the wayside be? A common area? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Just bringing up some questions, I guess, to think about, I guess, on what are these, he says these things, but what are they? What would they signify in the real world? You know what I'm saying? Which I don't know. So maybe you should sit down and think about that a little bit more. I don't know. Could be many things, I guess. All right, verse number 5. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprang up, comma, right? Interesting phrasing. Because they had no deepness of earth, and when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had not root, they withered away. The stony places where there's not much earth. I'm assuming the earth, right? I mean, could be many things, I guess. In general, the places where the seeds fall, I think, are people, right? And then the earth, I mean, can be directly correlated to the deepness, the shallowness of your spiritual life, I would assume, right? The stony places, the hard places, you're not very open to that, right? You're more I mean, just think about it. Just think about Stony, right? Think about stones in your life, blockages in your life, things that would prevent you from opening up, and you, even in other ways, right? To love, right? To correction, to, it doesn't just have to be spiritual blockages. You can think of where you have blockages in other parts of your life and apply that same stuff to your spiritual life, you know. And you might be shallow with your love. Maybe you got hurt before. Maybe you haven't been loved in a way that was deep, so you don't even know what deep love is, right? Or you're shallow to correction, shallow to instruction, because maybe maybe you've just been on top most of your life. Maybe you always got things right the first time, or you just, athletically skilled or something like that. So listening to someone tell you how to do something is not something that's in your nature, right? Something like that. Little blockages in whatever area of your life there may be, you might have blockages in, right? I would imagine that's the stones. Same thing for your spiritual, that's the stones. And then your actual whatever spirituality is the earth being shallow, filled with stones, right? That's what I'm seeing. But I don't know. And then obviously you get some seeds. Doesn't have a lot of space to root up or grow in your life, so it just dies, and you never actually like continue that growth, right? And when the sun didn't scorch it, and yeah, what's the sun, dude? I don't know, because the sun can help you grow, but then the sun also, the sun's like the main thing that helps you grow, helps plants grow, besides water, obviously. But then it also kills you. It also kills the growth. If there's too much of it, what would that be? Or if you're not ready for it, the challenges, the failures in life, you learn from those. You fail, and then you learn, or it's a chance to succeed, right? Is the sun the lessons, right? Because they can help you grow, both in failure and success. Interesting stuff. Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. The thorns, yeah. They had the earth, but they were surrounded by other plants, other invasive species, other activities that had already taken root, other habits, other beliefs maybe that had already taken root, and it choked out the righteousness, right? You were already wrapped up in all this other stuff. Even the little springs of truth, little sprigs or whatever, they're little sprouts, right? Cooked immediately, choked. You know what I'm saying? Got to trim them down, brother. Got to get that dang weed killer. Got to get that dang thorn killer or whatever. Got to clear away a little path. Got to clear away. Got to prepare yourself a little bit to be able to be grown in, to be fertile ground, right? Something like that. And then a last one, banger, verse 8. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. So even the good ground, right? Not everyone's going to produce the best, right? Not everyone's going to produce the 100-fold. Some are 60-fold, some are 30-fold. And guess what, brother? We're still going to use it, Is some ground more fertile than the others? Probably, bro. Not everyone can do as good as the next person, and that's what makes the value, right? If everyone was able to produce 100-fold, then there wouldn't really be any value in that. It wouldn't be called 100-fold. It'd be called fold, dude. It'd just be production. So I don't know. I mean, it's nothing to get. I don't know if it's something to get salty about. Just like, all right, something to strive for. Like, hey, I got 60-fold this time around. Let me push on. Let me learn from it. Right? There's something that I could do better. Right? And hey, let me get 100-fold next time. You know, if you get 100-fold every single time, it's like at a certain point you lose the appreciation of it. If it's good all the time, I mean, dang, bro. How do you know when an L is? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If everything's good all the time, how do you know it's good? Type activities. And I was kind of like rushed at the end, but it's a little embarrassing making videos in public when there's people around. So that's why I was trying to be here doing this earlier, but we got it. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Ask the Father to bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.